Under the new administration, immigration has been a hot-button issue.
Since January, Immigration and Customs Enforcement has been doing raids across the country, even right here in central Illinois.
Tonight, Fox Champagne's Nikki McGee digs deeper, showing us what ICE is doing in your backyard. This is a Fox Champagne special report.
U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement tells me the current administration has been clear in wanting them to go after undocumented immigrants who pose a threat to public safety. I asked local law enforcement their role in enforcing immigration policies and who is at risk of getting picked up in our community.
Often they're members ingrained in the community. They've been here for 15 years.
Since January, Immigration and Customs Enforcement has made 10 visits to Champaign County, picking up 23 immigrants. But just who are they picking up? ICE classifies immigrants into 3 categories. Priority 1 status is reserved for any undocumented citizen that has been convicted of a felony or who poses a threat to national security. There have been no Priority 1 immigrants taken into custody during the raids this year. Immigrants who fall into Priority 2 have been convicted of misdemeanor offenses. ICE agents have made 18 Priority 2 arrests since January 1st in Champaign County. It's the Priority 3 group that has local immigration reform officials concerned. Priority 3 citizens haven't necessarily committed any crimes in the community, but they don't qualify for asylum and have stayed longer than their visas allow. 5 Priority 3 immigrants have been taken into custody so far this year.
The hard part comes when they come to an address, that person isn't there, and they would pick up somebody else that was there. Because that person may not have had anything other than being here without documents. And that's the part that really affects a bunch of other people.
While Macon and Sangamon County haven't reported any ICE raids this year, it's an ongoing situation in Champaign County. Urbana is the only sanctuary city in central Illinois. The police chief says her department isn't actively targeting immigrants in the community.
Specifically, we don't look for someone if they don't have the proper documentation. If they have some kind of illegal paperwork, we would seize that from them, but we don't necessarily make a point of then calling ICE for any reason just because we've run into somebody that doesn't have proper paperwork.
In fact, Chief Morgan says she's seen another problem where immigrants are victims. She says many are hesitant to report crimes because of their status and fear of deportation, something she doesn't want to see in her city.
We don't want that. It's not okay for someone to, continue to be a victim of crime and just be afraid to call the police for help.
Although local law enforcement may not be targeting undocumented immigrants, their hands are tied if someone is on a priority list. We reached out to ICE for an interview, but they declined. They do tell us that these aren't raids, but targeted visits. They say they are looking for people on those lists specifically and not picking up people simply because they don't have proper paperwork. But immigration advocates say those visits can still be traumatic for families.
If people can imagine what it's like for just the police to come and pick someone up at a family gathering and the impact that has, think of what it's like for your parents to be picked up and not just going to jail. You may not see them again.
Not everyone detained is deported. Once an undocumented immigrant is arrested, the deportation officer will decide whether to initiate removal proceedings. Those proceedings can sometimes take up to years to complete. From Champaign, I'm Nikki McGee, Fox Champaign News at 9.